Okay, Unit 9, Lesson 7, it's just finding the decimal equivalents of fractions, converting common fractions into decimals. And I think you guys have had some experience with this, so we should move pretty quick. This should be a fairly short day. SAB page 383, one page. Okay, so what we're looking at here are equivalent decimals. And I have some bright pink lines and a bright green line so that you can kind of see what decimals might be equivalent, okay, and how you can kind of think about those. So just based on this, I want you guys to think about, will any of the fourths be in the same position as the halves? Okay, so when we look at the fourths and halves, yeah, we should see that fourths and halves will be in the same position when you have 2/4. So it's just which numbers are equivalent. So right there, right? That one is going to line up with this half down here. So those two hearts kind of line up with each other. That makes sense. So if you guys want to put those marks there, then you would be saying yes. How do you know 1/2 is equal to 2/4? Okay. What about when we look at eighths? Will any of the eighths be in the same position as the halves? Yes. So if we were to look at eighths, we would find that multiple of the eighths are the same thing as a half, right? You should find that this one matches up down here, right? Okay, those two things match up. Those are all equivalent numbers. So really, it's just thinking about how can you find those equivalent fractions. So why is it easy to find the decimal equivalent for 10? Well, because decimal places are designed to show the tenths. Okay, if there are any fifths in the same decimal places as tens, yes, every other one would be. So just thinking about these relationships between how these decimal equations kind of work, where their places go. Okay. All right, this is just a quick going further page. Malcolm made 2/7 of his free throws this year. His friend Darius made 31/100 of his free throws. Who has the better free throw record? What you need to do is convert 2/7 into decimal form. So you're going to take, oops, sorry about that. I forgot I had my star still picked up. You're going to take 2, divide that by 7, right? You know you're going to have to add a 0 and go out. So 20 now is what you've got. 20 divided by 7. 7 will go in there 2 times. 2 times 7 is 14. Okay, subtract out, I get 6. I already know who has the better free throw record. Do you guys see why? Because this has a 3 in the tenths place and this has a 2. So Darius had a better free throw record. I already know that. He's got a tenth higher. Do you see how I didn't have to even work that out all the way? Zoe made $1,000 last year and saved 7/8 of it. This year she made $1,000 and saved $890. How much more did she save this year? So what I need to do is find 7/8 of 1,000. Remember, that's like saying 1,000 times 7/8. Remember, you can do that by taking 1,000 and dividing it by 8. And then multiplying that answer by 7. So if you need to pause the video to do that, please do so. You're going to take 1,000, divide it by 8. Okay, come back and check that so you know you've got that right, and then we'll multiply it by 7. All right, when you come back, you should have found that 1,000 times 8 times 125 gets you 1,000. Okay, so now I'm going to take 7 and multiply that by 125 to find out how much money she saved this year. So go ahead and pause the video again and multiply by 7. Come back and check your answer. Okay, so 125 times 7 is 875. So 875 is how much she saved last year. This year she saved 890. They still want to know the difference. They didn't want to know how much she saved. So I'm going to subtract those two. I get $15. Okay. Let's go on here. Berta needs 7/8 of a pint of whipped cream to make dessert. She has 9/10 of a pint. Does she have enough whipped cream, and what's going to be left over? So again, we're just going to change 7/8 to a decimal form. So I'm going to take 7 and divide it by 8. Okay, if you want to go ahead and pause the video to do this, then please do so. Okay. All right, so 7 divided by 8. I had to add that decimal. Oops. And then I get that it's 875 hundredths. Okay. So how much is she going to have left? So now I'm going to take 9/10 and I'm going to subtract out 875 hundredths. Remember, you can add those extra zeros on there so that you know what you're doing. Subtract out, I'm going to have to borrow, make that a 10, a 9, and borrow again. So I get 5, 2, 0, and bring my decimal down. So I get 25 hundredths. Oops, missed my 0 there. Let me put that in there, put my decimal. Okay. If you guys want to try out some more, go ahead and go on to and finish the rest.